Well, now having looked at these cylinders, I realize these are a lot. If we were to do these, let me press Control and Spacebar. If we were to do these as they are here, this could be a whole nother course in and of itself. This is actually quite a lot going on here. So what I'm going to do is try and work on a somewhat simplified version of this. Something that'll fit in here, I think, but isn't as detailed and just won't take as long because we've got a lot of other things to do here to build this. So I'm going to try and find a balance between realism and getting things done here. First of all, let's put these guys in a collection. I'm going to come up here and right-click and choose Duplicate Area. Here we go to a new window, and then you can just hover over this and hit the minus key on the number pad to collapse everything. And then let's just go through and select, I think, just all of these, right? Yeah, all of these, and then select this, and control-click this, and control-click this. Oh, and we need these here as well. Okay, so now that we have all of that, let's just put these into a container or a collection. I don't think I want to drop them directly into the engine collection. I'd like to give them a collection of their own just so I know what they are. But I don't really know what this is. I think I'm just going to call it Between Cylinders and go with that. I'll hit the M key, New Collection, Between Cylinders. There we go. And we'll just take that collection and drop it in the engine collection there. Okay, so now that we've got that, let's think about these. So what do we think? Is this a cube? Is this a cylinder? I mean, they're slightly rounded, but they look kind of flat on the front. And then we've got all of these little ridges, and we've got an indentation here. So I feel like I want to begin with a cube. I'm not sure that that's going to be what we want, but I think if we create a cube and use the subdivision surface modifier, but we're going to create a lot of polygons if we do it that way. Well, I think any way we do it, we're going to create a whole lot of polygons with all these little tiny ridges on this. So I don't know if it really matters. So let's just go to the side view here and let's take a look. So here it is. I'll put the cursor in the center of the grid and then shift and right click and drop it right in here. I'll press Shift Z to go to wireframe. And yeah, I think I'm just going to begin with a cube. Let's try this. I'm going to take it down to 0.2. I will turn it and change to local transformation orientation. Let's scale it down a bit, something like this, and let's rotate it to kind of get it in line here. So now I'll tab into edit mode and select this face here, and let's scale it in the Y and bring that in like this. And I've kind of got these set up so it's on the inside. So when I create the ridges here, we're going to extrude out. It's got this kind of hangover here, this piece here. I don't think I'm going to worry about that. But I guess if we wanted to, we could maybe, we could try. Let's give it a try. I'm going to bring it out like this. And then maybe we'll add an edge loop here and bring this down like here, let's say. Take this face and then extrude it down like this and then scale in the Y to come in a bit like this. Like we can try that. All right, so let's try that. Let's then take this and let's move it up into place. So we're going to need to come forward to connect with these things. And I'll scale in the X because we're going to want to come off of these here, right? We don't want to intersect with any of this. So let's scale it in the X a little more, bring it back some, so maybe something like that. Let's see what we can do with these ridges here. I think we just need to insert a whole lot of edge loops here. So for the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we've got 5 up there. If we inserted, what, 7? Let me think here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if we inserted 7 here, let me just see what we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let me try 8 here. I'm going to try 8 cuts, and you can see them over here. Let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So we've got that. We're down here. Well, it looks kind of like 12. Maybe I'm going to need to, well, let's just scroll the mouse and click twice, and then we can come in here to the number of cuts field, and let's just click and drag in here till we get them about the same width as what we have on top here. All right, so let me try these now. Let me just go every other one and see what we have here. I'm just going to click on the edge to get that face loop all the way around. Yeah, so we have it on the top and the bottom. I think that's pretty good. All right, so now what we can do is we can extrude and then scale and then turn off the Z-axis. Let's try that. ES Shift Z. And we're in local transformation mode, so let's just scale out like this and see what happens. Something like this. You know, we could bring these in a bit over here. These in like this, we could just drag in the Y to bring those in just a little bit more. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, right? Let's add a subdivision surface modifier and see what happens. See if that's even a possibility. All right, it's actually not too bad. Let me smooth it. Yeah, we might be able to do something with this. So what we can do now is tab into edit mode, and let's add, say, 2 or 3 edges here to kind of hold the sides. And then we can use a Boolean modifier to cut into here. Then we can add the base plates, the bolts, this bolt, and then we're going to have to deal with all of this on top. But generally speaking, I don't think that's too bad. You know what let's do is let's grab this and let's just hit E and Z and pull that out into here so it closes that off. I'm kind of surprised. That's actually pretty good. So what let's do now is let's see if we can create this indentation here. Let's try that. What I'm going to do is duplicate this, Shift-DX, and pull it out like this. And then I'm going to scale it pretty far in the X. So SX, so it's way in like this. And this is what we're going to use to cut into that. And I think I want it a little bit more angled. So I'm going to take these away. I'm going to hit X and dissolve edges so it's a little more angled, right? More of a curve there. And then I'm going to spin it in the Z, RZ90. Oh, but I want it to go the other way, so I'll hit the negative key. There we go. And then enter. And then I want to bring this down, and it's going to insert into here. So I want it to go in something like that. But before we begin doing that, let's apply the subdivision surface modifier. And this is just a temporary object to cut into here. So I'm going to apply that. You can see we've got a whole lot of polygons there. Then I'm going to come into this window here, the object properties. And if we scroll way down, just going to move these up a bit here. If we scroll way down to viewport display, we can change our display to wire, and we can see that there. So we can kind of see through it as this happens. And then let's select the actual object that we're going to cut into. And let's add a Boolean modifier. Now what we can do is tell what object is going to be cutting into it. So this one here, let's give it a name. Let's press F2, and I'm going to call it cutter, just so we know what it is. It's just a temporary object here. So I'll select that original piece. In the object, I'll type in cutter and select it. And now as we take this and move it in the Y, it should cut into this. Let's see. Yeah, so let me move it down a bit. You can see how it's kind of cutting into here. Let me move this down to, say, here. Let's try this. Yeah, you can see it cutting in now. All right. So if I come over here, let's find that cutter. I'm going to come up here and type cutter. There it is. And let's just disable it for a moment here. And there we go. So now we've got that cut in. Is that the way we want it? Is that... Yeah, I don't think I want it that much bigger. That's actually not bad. It's pretty clean. I think it does the job there. And it looks like ultimately we'll put a bolt in here. All right, so in the next video, we're going to take this and we're going to duplicate it and mirror it over to the other side. And then we're going to add the base and the bolts and this piece up here and this one in here to try and get it to look a little more like the way we want. So that's coming up next.